I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm here live from the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, the markets are finally getting a Fed decision today, but I think that we need to step away from whether or not they're going to cut or remain. I think that the real question here is, if Trump decides to demote Jay Powell, what's going to happen?
I have to tell you that I'm rarely disconcerted by something, but we do have an independent Federal Reserve. One of my colleagues was saying to me, well, is Trump going to say he's insane and therefore should be removed? I mean, Trump has every right to complain about the Federal Reserve Chairman. He has no right to demote or fire. Now, but you remember, his concept of rule of law is quite different from others, and he's still regarded, the more he's president, the more he's regarding this country as a company, and that this fellow is just another employee of the company, and the company is a national economic policy company led by Trump and Lighthizer, and this guy Powell's not playing by the rules, so he's got to go. Now, I don't think the president has figured out how he should go, but if he doesn't cut rates by July, I think the president's going to figure out some way to be able to get rid of him. And for the life of me, I can't figure out how he does it. But I have found myself confounded by so many things the president does that maybe he has something up his sleeve. I don't know. I mean, look, I think that last rate hike was really bad. But I said at the time, I said business was falling apart. I was not doing anything with talking to anybody at the Trump administration. They didn't even believe in what I was saying. I was doing more work than they've done. But I'm baffled at this. The president's just going to have to live with this guy. And I don't think the president seems to understand that. If he really wanted the economy, the policy that he would favor, he shouldn't have fired Yellen. I mean, Powell's a very traditional backdrop guy. He's an establishment person. These are such anti-establishment, radical, populist views that the president is exhibiting, that those of us who followed this for 40, 50 years, he doesn't want to lose the re-election because of the Federal Reserve. He can. I mean, the combination of the tariffs and the Federal Reserve not cutting rates, slowing the economy. I had Lance Fritz on last night from Union Pacific. The economy's slowing. So I don't know. Again, I'm confused. I'm kind of dazed and confused.
And for those of you who missed it, President Trump yesterday made comments saying, let's see what he does, when asked whether or not he was looking into, let's see what he does. Well, exactly.
What kind of threat is that? I mean, I've been threatened a lot in my life. This sounds like a lot of the threats that I have. They always start like this. I don't know how you can back up the threat, but it is a little unnerving. Now, we know that I don't think the Fed has enough ammo yet to try to figure out, or enough add data to figure out whether it should cut yet. We want to see the next employment number. Rail car loadings are slower, steel pricing lower, plastic pricing lower, box pricing lower, retail sales lower, housing a little better, auto lower, and that's a lot that's lower.
Well,
I think the president's right. But the president really wants a national economic policy. Okay, the national economic policy he wants is like what Draghi has, which is we're going to cut rates, we're going to drive the euro down, so therefore we're going to use America to get our economy going. And what the president says is, okay, they want to play that game, we'll play that game. But Powell won't play the game, so the president doesn't have the rank and file with him that he needs. I mean, the president wants Powell to debase the dollar by cutting rates radically and no sale of bonds. And the difficulty for that is that he doesn't have the power to do that. And I think the president is completely frustrated that he doesn't have that power. I mean, he's thinking, why can't I have the power that she has? Why can't I have the power that Putin has? Why can't I have the power that Draghi has in relation to Merkel? They think Draghi and Merkel are together.
Well, Jim, in the president's own words, all we can do now is see what he does. So let's move on. Let's talk about our real money stock of the day.
I've just been around too much. I just feel I've been here too long. Yeah, I know that the Fed has cost the president's presence, the re-elections, George Bush. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're switching gears. We're going to talk about real money stock of the day, which is Adobe.
Yeah. Yeah, I chose Adobe because Adobe has all the characteristics. I'm always talking as a cloud king. I mean, there are two economies going on here. There's the economy of old economy, which I write in Real Money is the mall, and there's the new economy, which makes it so everybody's equal. Every little merchant looks as good as every big merchant. It's the golden age of creativity, as Shantanu says. Shantanu Ryan is an amazing CEO, and Adobe is the canvas that you paint on for your creativity. It's a great conference call. Everybody should read it. It's really stellar.
And honestly, everyone should also read your Real Money piece, which is focusing on the golden age of creativity and what that means in terms of retailers.
Man, I think you have to go, it's like so many things. I go to my kids on this stuff. Now, it had been Adobe Blue, now it's Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark teaches kids very early on about how to be able to tap into their own inner creativity. This is not karma, it's not Zen, it's reality. And I don't think people realize how indoctrinated kids are in Adobe. And the Adobe suite just gets bigger and bigger because of Marketo, which was a brilliant acquisition. I remember when Marketo came public, and I liked it very much. The stock did badly, then Shantanu grabbed it. They are directly up against Salesforce now, and they're very much aligned with Microsoft. And the Microsoft alliance, including what's going on with Azure, and Shantanu is very real. And if those two companies combine, wow. But they're not going to, but I'm just saying that would be amazing.
Let's circle back to your column because you focused on retail and what Adobe means for retail.
Well, because what happened is if you go and read the conference call, it's skewed to retail, not B2B. And it's skewed to the idea that a creative person can really have their dreams done. And they also have artificial intelligence too. You can do remarkable things with Adobe. I encourage people to see, to themselves, look at what Adobe can do, because Adobe also keeps track of e-commerce. You can be, if you were to go buy something on Etsy, and that person is teamed up with the Adobe commerce system, that commerce system is going to make it so you can really scale from small to medium.
Jim,
Not from medium to large, but small to medium.
Is this the join or die moment for retail?
Well, retail's just being eviscerated by the inners. I mean, when the model was this. You have a place in the mall. People want to sell you stuff to be in the mall. They say no, okay? We deal with the VF Corps. We deal with Calvin Klein. We don't deal with you. So then what happened is everybody had the same thing in the mall, and then Amazon got the same thing, and then people got very comfortable with trying things on and returning them, okay? So Amazon's return policy is driving a lot of this. So now what's happened is that there are a lot of other different small verticals that are attacking even the boutique stores in the mall. I don't know how, and brick and mortar mall, remember that's different from Target, that's not regarded mall. Target is doing so much good stuff with Shipt, S-H-I-P-T. And Kohl's needs to work on they got to really build up on this return policy that's owned by Action Alerts. But I mean, I don't know what I would do if I'm Nordstrom. This is an attack on Nordstrom. That's what's going on. And
should they adopt Adobe?
Figuratively, you have to adopt Adobe. I mean, I've used Adobe. My daughter used Adobe to try to make her projects look real, and they do. Adobe and Wix, which I have on tonight for Mad Money, we used Wix at Bar St. Miguel and the Longshoreman BK. They make your restaurant look like that you're a competitor to Jean Georges. I mean, Adobe just makes everything look like you're a pro. The amateurs are turned pro by Adobe. It's rather remarkable. They do a huge suite of things, and I encourage everyone to look at them because they are the backbone of e-commerce now.
And as you said, it even prevents you from having to try on clothes in the dressing room, which I also don't like, as you said.
I once left my wallet in the dressing room and had a check for $1,000 by mistake. I just left it. I had just won the Philadelphia Phillies home run payoff, and I was going to cash my check. My mom wanted me to get new clothes with the money. And I left my wallet, and I never forgot it. I did get it, by the way. It was
I'm glad to hear that.
It was not a cashier's check. That would have been unbelievable.
All right, so let's switch gears. Let's talk about our final topic, which is the CBS and Viacom merger. Now, I feel like we've talked about this before.
It's kind of Action Alert name.
It is.
I don't know. I want people to watch our Action Alert name on that. I think that's something I definitely want to talk about because I have some new insight. Okay.
But just really quickly, can you tell investors why now? Why is it important to watch it now?
It's not now. It's been going on for a year. There is nothing now. And that was what I was going to say to the people. And Action Alert video, there's nothing going on. The article's nothing new. There's nothing going on. They've been trying to merge for a long time. They have not figured it out. And that story today was ridiculous.
All right, Jim.
Nothing in that story. Nothing. I do believe that the two are going to combine, but there was nothing in that story. The story could have been written a month ago.
Or as it was written the past 13 years. But anyway, thank you for joining us, Jim.
Absolutely.
All right, that's all the time that we have for today. For all of you watching on TheStreet.com or on Facebook, we are now jumping over to our Action Alerts Plus members-only club video on ActionAlertsPlus.com, where we will be talking more about the Fed and the CBS Viacom deal. I'm Catherine Ross, and we'll see you tomorrow.